I personally like the organic strategy the best, building my email list up and emailing my customers and clients regularly. But it all starts from the bottom of the funnel. You got to have a very optimized, easy to purchase from website before you start doing all of this like energy and time marketing yourself. You don't have $5,000 a month to spend on ads yet, right? You have to build up to that. And there's no shame in bootstrapping your way up to being able to afford that.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here with Alyssa Tollefson from the Hive, and Alyssa, you run your own web design company as well.
Yes, I do. Hi.
Hey, good to have you here. Tell me a little bit about what you do and what a day in the life looks like for you.
Yeah, so I have the two businesses. The Hive is a women's clothing boutique in Wisconsin, and I have a brick and mortar and e-commerce site for that. And from there, I started my web design and consulting agency for other boutique owners, really any inventory-based business. But on the day-to-day, I am running the in-store operations of my boutique. So I'm the one who is the cashier. I don't have any employees anymore. I had some for a while, but it's all me now. I was able to quit my full-time job. So I'm here every single day, and I'm doing the inventory buying, the marketing, all that good stuff, customer service, obviously. I made the website, of course, because I do have that web design agency as well. So I'm also, when I have some downtime in here, I'm talking to other boutique owners, I'm answering questions. I focus on Square point of sale and Square Online. So I am a Square Online certified web designer. So basically any of the boutiques or inventory-based businesses that use Square point of sale to process payments and track their inventory, they can have a fully integrated website. There was a gap in the market for that need. All the Shopify users, they were covered. Square users, not so much. So I hopped in there. And yeah, I am able to help other boutique owners, even the ones who you would consider my competitors, I suppose, down the street, who use Square point of sale. But I think that helps all of us when people are able to shop from more than one person in the area. So I have no problem helping my competitors in the space, and just a very busy person.
That sounds so interesting. And I love the design that you have on the Hive website. It's the hivecv.com for anybody who's checking this out. And tell me a little bit about how you started all of this, because it's so interesting. People love origin stories, and to hear how somebody who's resourceful and has an idea goes from 0 to 1.
So mine is a very, very strange startup story. In the town that I'm from, this was back in the fall of 2019. A restaurant was for sale, but it was free, and I'm using air quotes, free, as long as you signed a 5-year lease. And me and my cousin, we were just like, oh, what could go wrong? Like, yeah, let's just own this restaurant. We've never had restaurant experience before. We also don't have any capital to start a business, but let's sign our lives away to 5 years of this rent. Sure. And we opened February 1st of 2020, and our business plan was, we wanted events with groups of 30 plus people in our back room. We wanted catering, and that would really drive the sales. Well, on March 17th of 2020, all restaurants had to close down because of COVID. So here we found ourselves with a 5-year lease, no capital, no cash to run the business, and a restaurant during COVID. So it wasn't ideal. We quickly realized this isn't going to work. It was a 5,000 square foot space, and we sold $11 sandwiches. That math doesn't add up, especially in COVID, if you're not able to do the event rentals and the catering and all that good stuff. So I was just like, okay, what can I do? How can I get out of this? And I worked with the landlord to get out of my big lease. I split the suite up. I found somebody else who would want the restaurant, and I turned what used to be the event space into my boutique only. So that's when the Hive became a boutique instead of a restaurant. So I major pivoted there, but the cost was like a lot lower than having all of these employees, and the cost of the food and the waste and all the things that go into restaurant ownership. Like, I have so much respect for restaurant owners now, just knowing what I went through in the 6 months that I had the restaurant. But now I'm just a boutique only. Eventually I moved the boutique up to a different town in a smaller space. So I'm just in a 400 square foot retail space now instead of 5,000. But then I'm also doing the e-commerce online sales as well. So I'm still able to service the people who are used to doing business with me in that other city. So very, very strange startup story, but here I am. So I guess it just goes to show that anything is possible. Like, I definitely thought I was just absolutely out of luck when COVID hit and I have this huge restaurant, but I was willing to suck it up, go to my landlord and say, look, I need help. I can't do this. And she was willing to work with me at the time because, of course, she understood, like, COVID was so unprecedented. But it just goes to show that you got to pivot and you got to make decisions in order to keep afloat. And if that means completely changing your business plan, so be it. But that anything is possible.
Way to go. What an amazing story. I love that. That is just so exciting. And, it's so entrepreneurial to hear you go through that experience and land on your feet the way that you have, and, have a great business that you've launched here, have a web design business that's part of what you do as well. Very cool. Great entrepreneurial skills there.
Yeah. My degree is in entrepreneurship. So I guess I had that like up. That's what I went to school for. So I just kind of I understood that you have to be willing to do things that a lot of people would just not be comfortable doing. Most people would not have ever signed up for that restaurant situation. But if it's like something you want so badly, like I always wanted my own business ever since I was little. So I was like, I'm going to go for it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And, it didn't work out, but it worked out.
Very cool. Now it's working out. It seems great. And then your store looks beautiful back there. So, and your website looks beautiful. Tell me a little bit about the design aspect of it and how you grab that aesthetic, because even the photos are very engaging and really kind of pique your interest.
Yeah. I have a digital marketing background, so I just kind of understood what goes into a converting website in terms of the aesthetic and even just like the content that's on it. And I understood that when you are in your store and your customer comes in, you're able to talk to them about the product, you're able to show them, they're able to touch and feel it. And selling in store is a lot easier than if they land on your website. So knowing that, what a lot of inventory-based business owners who are smaller like I am don't understand is that your site photography, layout, and branding is the same as merchandising in your store. So if your website's not merchandised to sell your products, it's not going to convert very well for you. So I spend a lot of time coaching other business owners on how to get good photos. Maybe you can't hire a photographer. I teach you how to do that on a budget, just because having that consistency is the same as having a very clean, well put together in-store inventory as well. And then the other thing that I notice a lot with smaller inventory-based businesses is that their website isn't necessarily structured properly so that it's very intuitive for a customer to shop from you. Again, in store, you don't hide your cash wrap from somebody. Like, it's very obvious where somebody is supposed to go to pay you. For some reason, it's not that easy on our websites, where it's just like, okay, I want this top. I'm going to go to this category to find some matching pants, and then I'm going to go check out. For some reason, our sites are not structured that way, or I've noticed a lot of sites that are not structured that way. So I go in and I do a complete overhaul of the structure of a website. I give tips on the photography. I don't do photography or offer that. And then I also give a lot of tips on content writing, like your product descriptions. Again, how are you supposed to sell your product if you're not standing right in front of them to talk to them about the product? It's all in your product descriptions. I also lightly go over, a content strategy for inventory-based owners. And as a retailer, we have a lot of real estate on our website with every single product to implement SEO in there. Every single product description is real estate to be doing SEO. Every single title of an item is real estate to be doing SEO. That a lot of other companies, if you're service-based, you don't have that many pages on your website like a retail-based business does. Also, I always highly recommend, even if you're a boutique or, you sell products, to have a blog corresponding with it. As I'm sure you completely understand this, but you as a small business owner have an expertise that Amazon and Target don't have for your niche, right? Like, the reason people shop from me is because I have an extremely curated collection of items that they are going to love. Like, they can come in and they know that they're going to love every single top here. They don't have to go through pages and pages on Amazon to find one that has good reviews or anything like that. So when I go to do my content strategy, I'm able to write about the quality of my products, how to style them, all this stuff. And that shows up in search engine results. It gives me something to email my customers. It gives me something to share on social media. So it's just very, for me, obvious that you should have a blog if you're a product-based business, but it's not for somebody who, hasn't been in that space. So I also just teach people how to put a good blog post together, how to implement some SEO if you're an inventory-based business. And yeah, I feel like it helps their conversion rates get up to that 2%, hopefully. And then I teach them how to implement a content strategy that will reach their goals. So it's all, people sometimes think that a content strategy doesn't apply to a product-based business, and that's just simply not true. You just got to think a little bit harder about, what your niche market is, what your client needs to hear from you in order to become a trusted source for them.
I love all that. You're speaking my language big time with all that too. So
yeah.
It's very, very cool. Tell me a little bit about Square's website platform. I know a little bit about it, but I'd love to hear kind of like the insider view of other websites on their platform.
Yeah. So Square acquired Weebly a while ago. And now it's a fully integrated online platform with Square point of sale. So if I sell an item in store, it automatically gets removed from my inventory online, which is obviously very important because you don't want somebody to be able to go purchase that same exact item. And now you're like explaining to somebody what happened to their money. So that's the biggest thing. I don't know where, Shopify and Square are both very great point of sale systems. They're both very great website systems, but there's kind of this Shopify or die rhetoric. And a lot of web designers will say, you can't design on anything except for Shopify if you're a product-based business, blah, blah, blah. And I disagree with that think of how much money and time it costs to switch your point of sale system out when you could just be using Square Online as your website platform. And if you are not a web designer, of course, you don't know what to do to make your website beautiful, conversion rate optimized, all that good stuff. I find Square Online to be extremely intuitive when it comes to designing. I love how clean it is. Just the simpler and cleaner your website, the more likely somebody is to convert. It just makes it so much easier for them to use. I see a lot of boutiques with over-designed sites, I would say, where it's a little too messy for somebody to go from point A to making a purchase on your website. And Square Online, you can over-design on it if you want to, but it's just very easy to implement your brand and your aesthetic through images and leave the rest to, white space and all that good stuff. I personally think that with the tools that Square Online offers in terms of the customized branding, the fonts, you can have customer accounts on there so your customers can remember what they bought before and all that good stuff. It's just a really, really great way to offer an omnichannel experience for your customers, especially if you do have a brick and mortar. My customers can choose to pick up in store instead of paying for shipping. And they can shop online and then on their way home pick up their order. It just makes it totally seamless for me as a business owner, which is the biggest thing for me, is my efficiencies and my processes and my reporting. But my customers have a great experience that way, and that's what's really important when it comes to choosing your web design platform.
Very cool. And tell me a little bit about how you're growing the business online. What are ways that you do? Do you have product feeds and you're sending that out, or are you buying ads and driving traffic over to your website, or is it mostly organic traffic? What's your approach?
It's mostly organic traffic. Ads do pretty well for boutiques, but I'm not a profit first professional. I always have to say that, but I follow the profit first cash flow method. So it really depends on what the sales are allowing me to market with. But I personally like the organic strategy the best, building my email list up and emailing my customers and clients regularly. And I have a content strategy planner download on my website where I walk you through like, okay, you need your sales on your website to be $10,000 a month. If you have a conversion rate of 2%, let's say, now we know how many people we need to get purchasing on your website every month. And then we can look at your average visitor count to see how many people it takes to get those many orders. And now we know what our goals are. And now we know what the content strategy is going to be to get that many visitors to our website, to get that many sales. But it all starts from the bottom of the funnel. You got to have a very optimized, easy to purchase from website before you start doing all of this like energy and time marketing yourself. And you could, there's a case there for the chicken and the egg kind of a thing. But once you kind of have your data established, then you can make these smarter decisions. And for me, it is Instagram, Facebook, and email strategy. That's what drives traffic to my website. That's where my customers are used to hearing from me. Now, I think boutiques and a lot of product-based businesses, if you can implement that good content strategy with blogging, Pinterest is a really great way to get more traffic, especially if you have more of an evergreen product than the shirts that change out every month or so. But yeah, organic is great. And then I always recommend like nailing that down before spending money on ads, because usually what I hear from the folks in the ad space for boutiques and stuff like that, your ad spend is $5,000 a month in order to even like get the traffic to see the results, the return on ad spend. A lot of small retailers, you don't have $5,000 a month to spend on ads yet, right? You have to build up to that. And there's no shame in bootstrapping your way up to being able to afford that.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're kind of gambling at the early stages of an ad budget and you're trying to figure out what keywords are converting or what social channels are working best for you.
Yep, totally.
It makes a lot of sense. Tell me a little bit about the production process to get products that are in your store onto your website. What is that like? Snapping photos of your products and getting them up on the website. What's it?
Yeah. So again, first things first is you have to choose products that your niche is they have to have it in their closet. You can't just buy things that you like and you think would look good in your collection or anything. Like, it has to be very strategically bought. Again, takes a little bit to learn that. But once you kind of learn that, then what I do is every single week I sit down and I look at the cost of goods sold from the week before, and that becomes my budget for buying for this week. So then I go spend whatever last week's cost of goods sold was on new inventory. I lean into my best sellers too. So for a while I was selling tops, jeans, shorts, sweaters, home decor, all like so much stuff. And by far, tops sell the best for me. So now I sell tops, period. Right? Yeah, because I know I'm going to make money on it. I know I'm going to turn that inventory. I mean, yes, I do have like some candles and essential oils here and there for gifty items, but I focus on tops. And if you look at the homepage of the hivecv.com and you scroll down, what do you see? Different categories of the tops that I carry. And again, that took time for me to learn. That's what I coach people on, is how to do that kind of stuff. But I spend my money on the cost of goods sold that I from last week. The inventory comes in, I sort it by style and color. I snap pictures on this door that you can see behind me. If you were on the Zoom, you'd be able to see I have this door. It has a screw on it. And that's where I take my pictures from. It's got natural light. The background is white, but it creates this really nice, consistent background for all of my tops that come in. I edit them on my phone in Lightroom app. So very, very like me doing everything, but I've just gotten the process down to such I know how to do it that it doesn't take me very long anymore. And then I upload them into my point of sale and turn them on online, and that's it.
Love it. Love it. And I love the fact that you mentioned processes and efficiencies and where you can gain those efficiencies as it becomes extra time for you to do other things to grow your business, and you're not bogged down by these details. So process is key to scaling a business like that.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this has been so exciting talking with you, Alyssa. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Tell people who are listening here how they can find you.
Yeah, so the easiest way to find me is to follow me on Instagram. It's at Alyssa Tollefson. And then my website is alyssaTollefson.com, because you can find the Hive stuff from there too.
Wonderful. Well, you are a business ninja. Thank you so much, Alyssa.
Yes, thank you.